everyone, this is Dave, and today is another investing updates video. I like to do these pretty regularly, put our heads together, see what interesting trades and ideas we can come up with as a group. I'll share what I'm thinking. You guys please share what you're thinking in the comments, and hopefully we can all make some money together. Before we dive into that, I hope you will consider hitting that subscribe button by the end of the video. Every new subscriber is so much appreciated. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into this week's investing updates. Okay, so starting off with my performance for the month, or at least as of today, as I'm filming this video, it might be a day or two before it actually comes out. We're looking at a really great month, actually, about 15+% return on the month, so can't complain at all about that. Of course, we're in very volatile markets. Wouldn't surprise me at all if we see a significant pullback in the coming days, but it's been a great month for me. I hope it has been for you as well. Zooming out a little bit further, talking year-to-date returns, I'm looking at about a 46.6 cumulative return on a year-to-date basis, which is outstanding. Love to see it. Hopefully we can continue that in the back half of this year, although generally it's a little bit slower when you're talking September, October, and beyond. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Yeah, best 10-day return was 12%. Best return, not even sure what that one is. I guess best single-day return is 15%. Imagine that. That's a wild one. Yeah, definitely gets pretty crazy in the portfolio as one stock, which is RKLB, takes up a higher and higher percentage of that portfolio. Of course, that's for a good reason, which is that the company has performed so amazingly well that it is becoming such a large part of the portfolio, which is great, but it does lead to increased volatility. Zooming out even further, on a 5-year basis, I love to take the long view on these things. We're looking at about a 5-year return of, call it 400%, which is pretty awesome. Did have some rough times in, late 2021, 2022, even 23, before the takeoff really started in early to mid 2024. And since then, things have been a rocket ship, really outperforming a bunch of indexes. Of course, everyone looks smart in a bull market. I'm not here saying, oh, look at me, I'm so great. In fact, I'm quite positive. A lot of the people watching this video have even better returns right now. So just sharing, because I do think it is healthy to talk about these things and not be all secretive and be like, ooh, we can't talk about our money, Anyway, just what I've seen. And of course, a horrible period for a while there where I was looking at a negative 33%, and there were some rough times. So do keep that in mind. And when you get gains like this, often just keep in mind pullbacks are always coming. Nothing goes straight up forever. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. Now, talking portfolio movers, as I said previously, RKLB, now over 50% of my portfolio, which I'm not going to lie, makes me a little bit uncomfortable. I just love the company so much that I don't want to sell. But when I look at portfolio allocation, I never set out to buy 50% in a single stock. I'm not one of those guys that generally goes all in on one company and just YOLO, let's go crazy with it. I've always held index funds as well as, a wider range of other companies. But, I'm just letting the winner ride here. For the most part, did sell a few shares for my house and my car when I had to move. Take some gains, which was probably prudent when you have a move like we've seen with RKLB. But still, as you can see, we've gone from like a 20% of my portfolio. I think it was probably like even 10%. Well, maybe not 10, but anyway, over 50 at this point. Number 2 is Tesla. That's causing big moves in the portfolio as well. This past month had a massive run. I'll talk about that a little bit as well, because I have also been selling covered calls on Tesla, which makes things a little bit spicy right now. And I did open up a call position on RKLB as well. that did move in an outsized way. More on that in a little bit. So Rocket Lab, obviously 54% of the portfolio on a 1 month basis. It's actually kind of flat from what it looks like. Position 14,000 shares, cost basis of those shares 411. And then I just recently opened up a small position here with a call option type thing. Basically, 3 month has been quite nice. We're looking at, say, 32.50 all the way up to, well, we were at, say, $55, but now back down to 48. Still quite a good 3 month period and not complaining at all for Rocket Lab, especially when you consider some of the things that have happened lately. CEO Peter Beck selling some shares. Of course, some of that is to fund his Venus mission and other philanthropic endeavors. So, don't blame him for that. But, when you do have a CEO selling a large number of shares, it's generally not seen favorably on the stock. And of course, the company just announced a big $750 million at the market offering, which means dilution and generally also causes stocks to go down. So all things considered, it's still been a really good 3 months. Especially when you consider that this is kind of taking the implication into account that the company is raising $750 million, although, all those haven't hit the market as of yet, I wouldn't think. And by the way, we're all here trying to get smarter about our money. That's why I'm so excited for today's sponsor, which is Brilliant.org. Brilliant helps you become a better thinker and problem solver with thousands of visual, interactive lessons. They have courses in math, science, programming, and especially useful for investing data analysis. Their data courses help you develop your scientific intuition by getting hands-on with real-world data from companies like Spotify and Airbnb. You'll learn how to see trends, visualize massive data sets, and make better-informed decisions. The best part is that Brilliant's hand-on approach is proven to be 6 times more effective than just watching lecture videos. It's a great way to build a powerful daily learning habit for personal and professional growth. To get started and learn for free, go to brilliant.org/DaveGInvesting, scan the QR code on your screen, or click the link in the description. Brilliant has also given my viewers 20% off an annual premium subscription, which gives you unlimited access to all their content. Thank you once again to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. It is, of course, much appreciated. And now let's continue with the video. Okay, now talking a little bit about the trades I've made over the past few weeks. Firefly is an interesting one. I did short it on basically the day of the IPO because I just find with these IPOs and space IPOs specifically, they always shoot way up, then they crash. So I figured why not take a little advantage of that. I sold shares that I didn't own for about $62, I think, dollars per share. Might have been 65-ish. I did decide to close this out on the 18th. I was just Firefly is just kind of sitting there flat at this point. It's hard to make money on short positions in a bull market. And really, I just prefer being long on good companies as opposed to being short. It's just, feels better being long. So I took my profits on this one and bought back those shares. So I sold 100 shares I didn't own for about, in total, 6,000-ish, 200. Bought back those shares for about 4,500. So I made, call it, $1,300, something like that, a little more maybe. Not unhappy with this trade. Worked out pretty well, but just time to move on from it. Of course, it was a small one. With these smaller trades that I make, kind of complementing the overall large portfolio positions that mostly just I sit and hold long term. I find I almost need to do it just to keep the adrenaline pumping, keep me interested and excited about investing almost more than anything else, although I do tend to do well in them and have good returns as well. But it also just helps me to stay focused on the portfolio, if I'm being honest with you, and I enjoy them. So made $1,000 on that one and helps keep me engaged and looking at these things more closely. Because when you have a short trade, you're looking at it daily, like, what should I do now and whatever. So that was pretty interesting. Now I've also started opening up some Rocket Lab call positions lately. And this is the first time I've increased my exposure to Rocket Lab. Honestly, probably since $4 per share, maybe $4.50 or something, $5 per share. So I guess you can consider it a big news item in that I'm adding my exposure to Rocket Lab stock, albeit through an option trade, not the stock itself, but it's been quite a while, so excited for that. And what this is basically is just a trade assuming that they are going to land the big SDA contract that I talk a ton about. And I do, talk about this frequently. I might go in through the whole thesis later on this trade because I wrote up a whole report that I did share to the Slice members before I ended up actually canceling my Slice mentorship. But anyway, I'll share the whole thesis and research behind this maybe at a later date. But suffice it to say, I bought some calls with expiries in December, as well as some really spicy ones at the end of October, basically thinking Rocket Lab's going to land this contract. It's going to be like $700 million to $1 billion contract, and it should move the stock at least. Well, I don't want to say for sure what it'll move the stock by, but I think it will move the stock. So decided to see if I can take advantage of that short-term catalyst, being someone who watches it more closely and is quite confident that they're going to land this contract, and fairly confident when it will be awarded as well. Because you have to be right on these calls, not only being right about what will happen, but being right about the timing, and also being right about the reaction the stock will have to the news. So very high risk. Certainly wouldn't advise anyone to liquidate all their shares and move them all into short-term call options by any means. It's just a fun play, and hopefully I can make money on it as well. I did have to sell some stocks to fund this. Now I probably will reopen those positions when the trade is done, depending on how things go. I did sell the Redwire shares as well as 45 ASTS shares that I had because I just don't have any cash right now available, unfortunately. So them's the breaks. But I did do these sales in my tax-free account, being a Canadian, so I didn't have to pay any taxes on those sales. Hopefully, if I do well in this trade, I won't have to pay any taxes on those returns either, and I can rebuy those shares and have some nice profits. That's the hope. Of course, everything can go wrong. We could have a black swan event. We could have, anything could happen. It's really, you have to remember the overall macro markets also play a massive role. And you never know what kind of black swan event will happen when you do a trade like this. That's why I never go all in with them. Tesla covered calls. So if you've been watching this channel for a while, I've been selling Tesla covered calls for many months now. I've been making like $1,200 a month selling Tesla covered calls at about a $400 strike price. It's finally gone above $400. And really, what an insane move we've had just in September. Now, this all kind of started when it was revealed Elon Musk bought $1 billion worth of Tesla stock. First time he's bought stock in quite a while. And I think this move is like a little overblown, being honest with you, although Tesla is my number 2 position. So what would happen with this is that my old contract that I had outstanding would force me to sell my shares for $400 per share, which is about right here, obviously, on October 10th. So seeing as how the stock is now $441, I'd be losing about $40 per share. And yeah, I did get premiums for it, but not enough to cover the $40 per share. So that would put the trade at a loss. Now, obviously, I would still make money because the underlying shares I do own at a much lower cost basis. But for the purposes of the option trade itself, it would kind of be a loss. But what I did and what I will try to do in all these situations is roll it out and up. And what that does is takes advantage of the implied volatility, and you can generally move the expiry date further out while also raising the strike price and even still get paid for it in the interim. So you can see here that I was able to shift the expiry date basically by about 3 weeks and shift the strike price up to $415. So shift the strike price up $20, which is pretty substantial. And not only that, I received money. I didn't have to pay money for that. So that's kind of the game plan with the covered calls and what I generally do if I get into the situation, which is pretty uncommon just because the move is so massive. So just, as we get closer to the expiry date, I try to do it fairly short term because I find that's where you have the highest money value for the time. And if you're not into options, sorry for boring you all this, but basically I'm going to keep rolling this over and trying to eventually have a day where my strike is below, or my strike is above the actual cost of the stock, and then it expires worthless. But worst case scenario, if these shares get assigned, they get called away from me. I made a ton of money. It's a volatile stock. I'll probably have an opportunity to get back in it at some point, should I choose to. The main thing that would suck there would be having to pay taxes on those gains. And kind of interesting, though, that my account is now at a level where I really have to worry so much about the tax implications of things, because it never used to be a big concern. So I think that's also kind of a good sign in disguise that tax concerns are becoming a bigger and bigger issue. Anyway, that's what I've been doing on Tesla. Was doing some similar stuff on HIMS, selling covered calls at about a 65 strike. Rolled that out as well, got some more money, moved it from 60 to 65. And yeah, that's looking like it'll expire worthless, and I'll make about 500-ish bucks off of that one as well. Now, the YouTube channel, sometimes I do share this with you guys because a few people are interested in metrics and what it's like being a YouTuber. Maybe there's some people out there trying to start their own channel. And yeah, there's always peaks and troughs, like peaks and valleys when it comes to YouTubing. And this has been an off month for me. So the interesting thing was I did go to Wallops to attend the Neutron Launch Complex opening event. And even before I left, I was pretty much certain that doing so was going to be bad for the channel. And I would actually do better on the channel by not going and just continuing my regular content. And sure enough, that's true. The video I did make at Wallops, while I think it was very cool, didn't really get a ton of views. And then, of course, all the traveling and work and stuff like that meant that I made less videos than usual, and the channel actually took a bit of a hit. So all that's to say, I don't care because it was an amazing experience and I think it was worth it. But in the past month, I've made on the channel through YouTube ads $476. We've gotten 376 subscribers, which is less than usual, unfortunately. Watch time down, views down. That's okay. These things go through valleys, peaks and valleys all the time. And I have been quite busy with family and other things and some home reno stuff. So really hope to be able to make some more YouTube videos soon. And frankly, the inspiration's been a little not there. And yeah, I think I need some different video ideas to get the passion back. Maybe not necessarily on the investing side, and more about on the tech and science side could be a cool one. Maybe a deep dive on some specific mission or something like that. Let me know if you have any other thoughts. Do plan to make videos on Redwire and Planet in the future as well, even though those don't perform well either. But anyway, so that's how it's been on the YouTube channel as of late. In case you're interested what it looks like, channel my size, yeah, it's not like a free money printer running a small YouTube channel, but it's pretty fun, it's pretty rewarding. You get cool experiences like the trip to Wallops, like meeting Sir Peter Beck and the team, and more than anything else, it just forces me to do a lot more research than I would otherwise when I'm sharing my trades and thoughts with you guys. I tend to make more of an effort to make sure I know what I'm talking about, and that tends to pay dividends when it comes to my actual investing. So hopefully the channel, well, I know for a fact, led to me making a much larger Rocket Lab position than I would have, and that has paid dividends in spades more than any month of advertising revenue could have. So yeah, that's how I look at it, in case you're interested on the YouTube front. So that's all the updates I have for you today. Pretty exciting, adding some Rocket Lab call options to the portfolio, closing out of that Firefly short position, mainly just holding long with my largest position being Rocket Lab, and the portfolio has done extremely well over the past 3 months plus. Love to hear how you're doing, what trades you're making. It's actually pretty common that I get great ideas from viewers and subscribers. So yeah, don't be hesitant to let me know what you think would be a good idea to do next. And you never know, maybe I'll look into it and think it's a great idea and do it myself as well and make this a two-way street, not just a one-way street, of course. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end, it is very much appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing that as well. And I hope you have a great day, a great rest of the week. I'll see you soon for the next video. Bye for now.